right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Play It Forth podcast.
The Energy Cast.
Heyo, I'm Haley, aka Hales, on the Rooster Teeth website.
Roaster Teeth, the new website. I am Tristan, aka Shagrazier.
I'm Alex, aka Chaos Black 21.
And I'm Joseph, aka Jay Dunlap.
Or Jay Dunny.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Hey, Duddy.
I have all kinds of nicknames with my students now, but let's not get into that right now.
He's an Aussie.
So let's just dive right in. What's our first segment, everyone?
And another thing.
Technically,
And a fluffy thing.
technically it's Tweet of the Week, but we don't really have any from this past week. Just Matt thanking us for having him on the podcast. And that's a nice transition into and another thing, because last week we had Matt317 on, and we talked about Halo. It was quite a good conversation that we had.
Yes.
I liked it.
Conversation about the trailers, conversation about the commercials and advertising, all good stuff coming up for October 27th is when it releases, right?
October 26th is my birthday. Suck it.
Happy birthday.
So are you getting Halo for your birthday?
Haley's getting
I
Halo.
bought my early birthday gift to myself, and it's the Uncharted HD collection, which comes out on Friday, which no one's going to hear from me because I'll be twitching all weekend. I'm going to be a hermit all weekend.
Well, I mean, if you're twitching,
It
we
still
can
sounds like
go
a medical
watch it and we
condition.
can hear you.
Yes, but nobody, like, around my vicinity, like, my life.
Okay, so no one around in Georgia will ever see you because you're going to be stuck inside like a hermit.
Basically.
Okay.
I told people, I'm like, this weekend, don't even try to, like, ask me to hang out. I'm playing Uncharted all weekend, so don't even.
So
even-
does that mean that next podcast you'll have a nice in-depth telling of Uncharted for us?
And I might be really tired. But yeah.
Ethan Drake.
Wow,
There's
that
the
was
squeeze.
easy.
It was worth it.
I wanted to correct myself on something I said in the Halo discussion, because I was talking about the birthday party I had when I was first dating Regina, which was swords, then rocket launchers, then mixed weapons, and I said Battle Creek.
Yeah,
And actually, Battle Creek is Halo 1,
it is.
and in Halo 2 it's called Beaver Creek.
Yeah, in
the
the same
Beaver
way that
Creek.
they changed Blood Gulch to Coagulation.
Oh, I get it. A scab.
And then they changed coagulation to something else again then.
Did they? I didn't even remember that. In Halo
Yeah.
3, it became something new again.
I think so.
It
Zanzibar
went back
was
to
fun.
Blood Gulch.
Can we all agree that Zanzibar was fun?
I liked Zanzibar. I had a big
Zanzibar was
fan on
fun.
it.
And then they changed it to another thing in the
And
I think
another
Last
map.
Resort. I think it changed to Last Resort.
Yeah, I think that's right. That sounds familiar. In Halo 3.
And I changed a map.
Halo. Was it 3? Yeah, Zanzibar was in Halo 2.
Yeah.
Because that's when you first went to New Mombasa.
New Mombasa.
New Mombasa. New Mombasa. I don't have an African voice, so never mind.
Still haven't beaten Halo 2 on Legendary since I got Halo MCC.
There's no shame in that.
What you need to do is get Xbox Live, and then we can play together. And I can help you beat Legendary Halo 2.
And Halo 3. And Halo 4.
We should, I think, I don't know if you can do multiplayer with more than 2 people. We should get Noah in on it, just do all 3 do it. Great.
It depends. And I think, didn't in Halo 4 they started doing 4-player co-op?
I remember that in Halo 4 it was possible, but I don't know if it was, if it's been implemented, in the Master Chief Collection or not, because I haven't tried it.
All right.
Soundest good.
Anybody have anything else for and another thing?
I don't believe so. I did correct myself, and that's a good start, right?
Yay! So the first step is accepting, Joseph, that you have a problem.
Yes. Well, I thought last week was great, and I would only change whatever Joe said.
Oh. Everything I said, or just
Everything.
saying Battle Creek instead of Beaver Creek?
Yeah, saying Beaver Creek instead of Battle Creek.
Oh, also, I wanted to note that we went over on time last week, so I had to make some cuts. But there was a very passionate argument between Alex and me about the noob combo. So when we finally upload our riff tracks for whatever audience we decide to upload that for, it'll be in there. It was a pretty long, lengthy, passionate argument concerning what the noob combo is, and that's all I'm saying.
You know, I've had a couple passionate arguments with you guys.
It can be a P4 byte, and we can animate it.
Animated stuff sounds interesting. We'd have to...
Well, I just mean put pictures up as people are talking about guns and stuff.
Talking about...
we're not
It doesn't
talking about, like,
have to be super fancy.
We're not talking about like minimations here.
No, I was just thinking maybe fan art?
We don't. Do we have fans? Who's a fan? I'm a fan.
I turned off my fan before we started recording.
Oh, so we're down a fan.
Yeah.
Oh
My
my
fan is
gosh.
Does that mean we need to let Alex talk about the thing he wanted to talk about?
I guess we need to do that.
Oh, the Scorch Trials.
So you saw a movie is the premise
I
here,
told
right?
you. I told you.
You did say.
And
Yeah.
I watched
Say
the
it-
thing.
I told you so. So I think I won't.
Yes, Haley last week said that
Six-
the
that was
or
on
not
last
last week. That was 2 weeks ago because she wasn't on last week. She said that the Scorch Trials. They said that they were going to make it different. I didn't think that they would just completely obliterate the book and say, "Okay, we're going to write our own story for this," and just slap on the title, "The Scorch Trials."
This is a great book, and it had a huge fandom. We want to make a movie and play off of that fandom to make some money. But you know what? We don't really like the book.
Yeah, the book is exciting too. I mean, there's probably some lull moments here and there that they obviously don't want to put into a movie to bore their audience, but I think there's some exciting parts too that they should have kept in. Instead, they're like, we're going to make it totally different. We're going to start totally different, which actually the start is made me feel like they were doing book 3 because it was very had a very similar vibe to what book 3 starts with.
I think we can get a little bit detailed if we're just talking about the start. So how does the book start? Let's start with that. So what does the book start with?
Book 2, The Scorch Trials, starts with the people who escaped the maze. They were, quote unquote, rescued by a group and taken to a building that they got new clothes, they got food, they were able to sleep. And then when they woke up, the people that saved them were, quote unquote, hanging from the ceiling, and they were locked in the building. And then they later found out that Wicked, which is the group that put them in the maze to start with, was still pulling strings. And so they basically had to leave the building and go and make their way through the Scorch, which is the land now. Like, it's all burnt to a crisp and everything from the sun. And it's really hot, which in the movie, they're like, oh, it's just the sun hitting us. We're not really on fire at all or anything.
So I've never read it, so forgive me. I've never read it, and I don't know anything about it. So what it sounds like you're saying is that this is a form of a dystopian future fantasy book where the ozone layer is gone, so now the Earth is being baked by the sun, and people are only safe, inside special buildings and underground?
Yeah, so sun flares happened, which basically wiped out a good chunk. Like, it basically baked everything. I guess it burned through the ozone, and so it made everything hot and destroyed everything. But there's also a virus going around called the flare that was it was human made.
Did it make everything hot and covered in black stuff?
No, it turns everyone into crazy people.
Oh, that's different.
Are you afraid of the little black stuff?
Yes, this is because I'm afraid of black stuff.
It's just like they changed how hot it was. They just made it so that it was like, oh, it's just normal temperature, like for a summer, essentially. They changed the crazy people. They made them essentially into pure zombies rather than the cranks, is what they're called. What they had them in the books, which they had more character than zombies. And they changed everything. And then the ending, they made the ending completely different from how the book 2 ends. So now I even know how they're going to do the third movie, because now that's not going to be anything like the third movie.
So if the ending of the second book is in orange, so we can avoid spoilers, of course, then how will you describe the ending of the movie?
Wait, okay.
Is it also an orange, or is it an apple, or like a pineapple?
Or a telephone pole?
Or grenade?
So if the ending of the movie was an orange...
If the ending of the book is an orange, then what is the ending of the movie?
It's definitely an apple.
So
actually,
it's similar.
It might even not be an apple. It's more like...
It's a piece of celery.
It's like a sailboat.
It's a sailboat.
It's a sailboat.
So instead of next movie being Fruit Cocktail, instead it's going to be Gulliver's Travels.
Yes.
Or scurvy, I guess. It could be scurvy.
It could be scurvy.
Scurvy.
I not be very consistent.
I'm a pirate.
So, yeah, I was very disappointed. If you haven't read the books, you might enjoy it because it's still action-packed, it's still suspenseful. But for someone who has read the books, I definitely wouldn't go see it in theaters and waste your money.
It just seems really strange that you would take part of the setting, which is supposed to be it's dangerous to go outside because you die from sun, and to remove that from the movie. Like, that's part of the whole reason society in the book has developed the way it did. And it doesn't make sense if they aren't, afraid to go outside in the movie.
Yeah, they had to essentially cover up in the book, like cover all of their bare skin. Otherwise, it was going to burn like crazy. And they had to travel at night. So they had, if they were out in the sun, they couldn't be out for very long. They had to find cover, and then they had to travel at night when it was cooler and try to get as far as they can.
Right, it makes me think of Dune a little bit. I mean, different, obviously, but it was similar that you really only traveled at night on Arrakis just because the heat of the day, which was not radioactive summer, but still, it's a desert planet.
And one more major plot point, because I'm sure we want to move on to other stuff, is that in the book, they were basically put out into the Scorch by Wicked. In the movie, they're just like, you know what, we're going to make them go out there on their own. They do it themselves instead of Wicked forcing them out there.
They choose to leave the safety and go out into the danger, which is then not very dangerous.
So
Yes.
they're a D&D group because they choose the danger.
Yeah, just to throw it in the GM's face.
Yeah.
GM said this is dangerous, we're going to do it anyway,
Yeah,
just
the
to show
GM's
how...
and in this world, the sun hurts. Okay, I go outside.
GM's like, okay, the sun hurts you. Player's like, I have armor.
How many points of damage did I take?
3. Well, that's not a
Points.
problem.
Get a healing potion.
Yep. Okay, cleric, how much mana
I
do you
won
have?
EXP.
How many healing spells did you prepare today?
See, I don't know D&D, but I do know Final Fantasy, so HP, MP, X potion, all that good jazz. Or if we go into Bioshock, you need some more atoms.
I don't have anything else to say that isn't just more complaining about the Scorch Trials.
I was just going to say that it's a shame that they took out such an important plot device, the idea of the sun harming people, because that was one of the best parts of Pitch Black.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Such a good movie. But that whole scene where they're trying to erase the sun, they could have had things like that in the Scorch Trials, perhaps. I haven't even read the book, and that's just an idea I have in my head.
Yeah, the race against time as the sun is setting in Pitch Black.
I wanted to bring something up related to the Maze Runner series. Somewhat related to Maze Runner. Because, who has heard of CinemaSins?
I have. I actually watched some CinemaSins today when you posted that you wanted to talk about CinemaSins.
So,
I heard about CinemaSins for the first time when you asked me if we should talk about it.
Well, CinemaSins does a series of videos on YouTube called Everything Wrong With, and then a movie name. And it's kind of a shtick. People think they're being serious, and they're like, why would you pick apart movies? It is a shtick. It's a joke. And the idea is, no movie is without sin. That's their tagline. Yeah. So they go through and they pick apart everything wrong with a movie.
Makes me think of how it should have ended.
They do it even with the ones that they like. Like when you posted that, I had already been watching the Everything Wrong with Edge of Tomorrow because I watched that last night to counterbalance the crap that I watched in the Scorch Trials. And I was like, oh, I want to see them pick apart this.
I actually watched Jurassic Park 2: The Lost World while watching the CinemaSins video and pausing it continually. It was pretty fun. It's kind of like watching a riff track, only they're not going out of the way to be humorous. So, CinemaSins is not necessarily a genre, although it can fit into the whole sub YouTube channel thing of how it should have ended, honest trailers, belated media to some extent, but it's very unique in its style of presentation. So other channels, comedy channels such as College Humor and Cracked, like to parody certain genres and that kind of thing. Like Cracked has a series with a guy who kind of makes fun of pop culture scientists, but everything he says is utter nonsense. Well, College Humor thought that they would parody CinemaSins. First mistake is you don't parody one channel, because that's way too personal. So they did something called Everything Wrong with Maze Runner and My Marriage.
Yeah, I ended up looking it up.
Well, what happened was they had this video that was basically slamming CinemaSins for being too judgmental and saying that as a result they must have marriage problems. And then the comment sections were such a crap storm for the next maybe 3 minutes. And there were so many dislikes, they took it down immediately. But somebody was still had the video in their browser when that happened. And they downloaded it and put it on dailymotion.com. And it's probably still there, I don't know, but I went and watched it and I thought, actually, this is getting quite personal. This is not comedy anymore. This is actually insinuating that the guy at CinemaSins has marital problems. Now, the jokes towards the end were a little bit funny, but I don't know, I just thought it was related to the Scorch Trials conversation because of the fact that they were actually pointing out a few things wrong with Maze Runner, but they were kind of lazy in the cliches that they were pointing out. But anyway.
I didn't really find it too hilarious. I did find the video on YouTube. Someone else had posted it.
Oh, really? Okay. I figure it'll be safer on Dailymotion because they may not even know it's there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But there were quite a few comments on the very next video that they uploaded, which was later that day. Remember that CinemaSins parody that they did earlier today? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yes.
So Halloween. Haley, Halloween.
Well, now my thunder's gone, but I was
This
thinking...
is Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Is that helpful?
What are you going to be, Haley?
I'm thinking, well, I was thinking about either a little sister from BioShock or a splicer.
A little sister. Well, both of them are going to be interesting to pull off due to the amount of makeup that you have to do.
I've seen some really good splicers at conventions.
I'm like so pumped. I'm like, oh! I've been looking up different makeup tutorials and like I've been trying it out and I'm just like, I got this. I'm so excited.
If
I
you're
just
gonna
don't
do
know
this,
about doing the little girl with the yellow eyes.
you can get the eye color changing contacts. Some people don't mind putting.
That totally changes your entire eye because that's what their eyes are, completely yellow.
Yeah, they've got those. Ew.
I honestly don't know if I'm doing anything for Halloween.
I'm
I
gonna
haven't
portray
thought that far ahead.
I'm possibly, I don't know if I'm going to do it yet, but if anyone's watched Archer,
I have.
Phrasing.
I'm probably going to be I haven't watched in a while, so I can't remember his name, but you know the blonde guy, the blonde gay guy.
Yes.
Yes, I'm going to try to be him, possibly.
Ray Gillette.
Yes, I'm going to try to be Ray.
I love him. You're gonna do him with bionic legs?
Yes.
Good. Ray, who's standing there? Ray, on bionic legs? Oh yeah, I forgot about those. How do you forget you have bionic legs? Do you stand around thinking about your normal legs? Well, if my luck, the way it's been going, holds up, I'm going to be portraying a homeless man.
What?
By
Way to
portraying,
bring
he means
things
for real.
down.
Yeah, I mean, for real.
Which
Hey.
I'm not laughing because it's bad, but
I'm laughing because it's just sad. In any event, I have one last thing here on my list, and that is Star Wars Battlefront Beta!
When does that start?
It has a beta that's beginning.
Tomorrow.
When is the beta starting?
Tomorrow? You said today. I got lost.
No, I said possibly today. I have to go check it, and then I went and checked it, and I was like, oh, it's tomorrow, the 8th.
Did that get updated?
So it started a few days ago.
It started.
No,
yes,
because this is coming out probably
on
Saturday.
Friday.
Friday
yes.
or Saturday.
So it came out on Thursday. Thursday is when the beta started.
So how have you been enjoying the beta?
I finally just went back and read all the little updates that I missed from Alex, so he can go through those.
They have actually opened it to some people already. I didn't really get to go and look in detail of what people are saying. The only stuff I really saw was people comparing the PS4 version to the PC version, and they were saying that the PS4 version holds up pretty well, and when they played the alpha, it was the drop rate for frames was terrible, but now this time, the beta, they have very little drop rate, so that's a good sign.
So when this comes out, who will have been playing Star Wars Battlefront?
I don't have Xbox Live, so
I'll give it a shot, man. I'll give it a shot.
One of my friends will be playing it, so I can at least ask
I'm
him
busy.
to tell me.
I'm busy with Uncharted.
Well, make sure, Tristan, that you give us another thing, or you could talk at length about it next week if you wanted to. And I look forward to that. Alex, I seem to remember you predicting something about how the beta is going to go versus how the actual release is going to go. I forgot exactly what you said.
So there's already been a lot of talk that Battlefront is pretty much doomed because of the fact that a lot of people are comparing it to a Battlefield clone, just with Star Wars plastered onto it. The Battlefield series has been going down sale-wise, so they think that it's going to continue with Star Wars Battlefront.
Sad, because the videos looked so tasty.
Oh my gosh, yes. That kind of bugs me, the argument, oh, it's a clone of this game because it's way so similar. It must be a clone and therefore it's bad, which we've talked about before.
Yes.
It's like, if this is a good game, I really don't need context to enjoy the game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a Star Wars shooter. I definitely want to try it out at least.
I'm interested in playing the game at some point. Very interested. Based on what I saw, the only issue then is how many people will be playing it to actually get paired up with.
That is true.
Couple, 2, 3. There was a time when Star Wars ruled the world.
There was a time?
A long, long time.
You know what's going to happen this
far
Christmas,
away.
right?
Okay.
Star Wars is going to rule the world again.
Oh, really? Oh, yes.
Yes, Star Wars Episode 7.
7.
Okay, well, I share a piece of it with Fallout 4.
Okay.
It has a little nook in your heart that you're going to save for it, just so that Fallout 4 doesn't fill up the rest of it.
Well, that's also another reason why they're saying it's kind of doomed to fail. It's coming out after all the big titles. It's coming out after Halo, coming out after Fallout 4. That people are like, oh, well, it's coming out after all these games that people are going to buy already before it. They're not going to have the money, or they're not going to want to spend the money on another game.
But, at the same time, there could be an advantage to coming out after as opposed to at the same time.
Or before.
Because people are saving up their money for the big ones that they know they're going to buy, and then once they've played those for a week, and let's be honest, a lot of people just play through the storyline and then never pick up a game again, then they're going to be looking for the next thing. And if Star Wars Battlefront is now releasing after that big hype, the first couple weeks of hype around a big release, now they're like, well, I'm going to give this a shot because I'm already done with the other thing. So they may actually be improving their chances.
We'll see.
You heard it here, folks. That is Tristan's prediction.
My hope that kind of thinking went into it. It could be that I put more thought into it than they did just now.
Anything else on the topic of Battlefront?
Nope.
I'm good.
Good.
You guys are going to make me close it, aren't you?
Go for it. Joseph.
Yes, because of that, you get to close it.
I get to close it. Yay.
Play us out.
Goodbye.
That was so anticlimactic.
Goodbye, audience. Thank you so much for listening. You were amazing, and we're going to do this again next week, I think. I think we're going to enjoy this podcast thing.
after 36 episodes, I think we're going to actually enjoy it now.
We've given it time to develop.
I think it'll stick. It'll be a thing.
We'll be Doc.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night, everybody.
night.
I totally clipped right off my charts when I yelled at you.